Okay, so readers, yesterday we had a chance to kind of draw some connections from the beginning of the text to the end and really stay close into the text, you know. And then you even had a chance to start thinking outside of the text, so making some personal connections, not just about the narrator and the characters, but about yourself and how you would relate yourself to the text. So we've done a lot of thinking around this really short story. Today, I wanted to teach you that when readers go back to reread a text, we've read this story a couple of times, but this time, as you're rereading the text, I want you to be thinking and paying really careful attention to how the narrator's point of view influences how the events are described. So, quick connection for you. So, you all came to school on the first day. You all kind of walked into this classroom, sat down at your desk. You all had the same event. You all had the first day of school in the same classroom, right? But you would each tell a completely different story based on who you are and your own point of view, right? And I would tell a different story as the teacher than you would as the student. So do you see how even if we have the same event going on, we could tell it from our own point of view? So I want you to be thinking about that as we reread the story. So Papa Who Wakes Up Tired in the Dark is the same short story that we've been kind of focusing on. And so I wanted to kind of show you how I would do it with that story. So Cisneros, that's the author, she chose to tell the story from the child's point of view because I think as I reread this, I think that she chooses to tell the story from the child's point of view because what it does is it helps me to think about the fact that sometimes as the child, we have to take care of our parent. And I think that's one of the big ideas or the big lessons that she's trying to teach us here. And maybe we didn't think about that as a big idea earlier this week when we were talking about big ideas. But when I focus on point of view, I'm thinking, I bet that Cisneros tells the story from the child's point of view because it helps us to think about what it's like to take care of a parent sometimes. So it helps the reader, that's us, consider that sometimes we, as children, take care of our parents. Now, would this story be different? Hold on, that good idea for 1 second. Would this story be different if it was told from Papa's point of view? Yeah. It'd be really different, wouldn't it? Yeah. Wouldn't be about holding, it would be a completely different story. So Cisneros made the choice as an author to write it from the child's point of view. And that basically creates the story that it is. It would be completely different if Cisneros had told it from Papa's point of view. So while I'm writing my thinking about how the story would be different from Papa's point of view, can you please turn and talk to your reading partner and just say, if Cisneros had told the story from Papa's point of view, it would change because... Ready, go.
If Cisneros told the story from Papa's point of view, it would be different because I think it'd be more about the connection of the Papa and the Abuelitos. I think that it would have been really depressing from the father's point of view because he's still brokenhearted about his father dying, and so I think that it would have been much more depressing if it was the father's side.
Yeah, that's a good thought. Like it has sort of a different feel to the story.
Yeah, because it's in his mind, not the boy's, and the boy has something else to think about. but but the father is just like having a hard time thinking about like his father's death. I think that was
Readers,
sad.
can I get your attention? As I'm writing this, I'm kind of listening to you and the words that you're using in your conversation, and I hear like a lot of words about emotion and how to deal. I started to write something, and I want to share it with you while I'm writing it, because I think in the process of me writing about my reading, I came across a really big idea. So check this out. If Cisneros had told the story from Papa's point of view, it would change. We already agreed on that. Because, here's why. He would have focused on something different. Maybe the big idea would be more about losing a parent and not comforting. Exactly. And not so much about, that's exactly what I was going to say, comforting. A different story. So how influential, to use this word, the point of view can really be, huh? Yeah. Maybe we weren't thinking about that really from the beginning, but I almost have revised my ideas about what I think like maybe the big idea is. And I'm thinking, I'm leaning more towards this. Before we talked about family struggling and families staying strong and helping each other out. But specifically when I look at this story through the lens of point of view, it really helps me decide that maybe this is kind of that big idea that Cisneros is trying to get at. So I want you to turn to any story in your short share text set and read it to yourself. And I want you to tell me who's the narrator and why do you think it's told from that perspective. So you're going to do some independent reading right now. Ready, go. Any story you want. Readers, today when you go back to do your independent reading, I'm going to ask you to be looking specifically for point of view. Whatever story you're reading, you might read one chapter today from your own independent book, and I want you to be asking, why is the author writing this entire book or this chapter from this point of view? How does that change or influence the way that the scenes are described? Point of view. So in your reader's notebook, I'm going to ask you to be writing about point of view. So when I look back in your reader's notebook today, I can look and see that you did some thinking about how the author's, or how the point of view affects the story. Sound good? Great.